that's so many things happening. The loss of your mother, going on this journey, getting facing the sexual assault and abuse, and then going and then getting a divorce. That is a lot all at one time. And it's only in retrospect, right? Like when you're all up in it, it's just happening. And I would imagine that, you know, I don't know what relationship with your mother you had, and sometimes I don't think, my observation is it doesn't really matter when you lose a parent. Your life,
it's horrible.
Your view of life changes, and
it does. And I felt when I was going through, because I'm in the documentary myself, and I tell a little bit of my story, but there was moments where I wanted to remember things that happened to me as a child. I'm like, wait a minute, my mom not only passed away, she took all my childhood memories with her. Think about that. I couldn't call my mom and go, Mom, what happened when I couldn't call her, because I didn't grow up with my dad. Because they divorced when I was 6, so she had all my childhood memories with me, and I didn't even realize that until I wanted to go back to some of them. So that happens too. So women, like, you know, in order for us to be happy, sometimes we need something. We need, like, you know, a new pair of shoes is going to make us happy, or going shopping,
a compliment,
or affirmation, or whatever it is. But the happiness that I feel now is such an authentic happiness, and it's a consistent happiness.
Yes.
And I don't need anything
to
make that happen. There's no peaks, there's none of this. It's just a steady joy and peace in my heart that I've never felt before. Like this. So some of the things, you know, in some of the classes that I've taken, one of the things that oh my gosh, has changed my life, it was in my boundaries class. And they said,
boundaries, we love those.
I love boundaries.
Yes.
I never even knew what boundaries were. I didn't know how to set boundaries. I do now, and I love it. Is that we're all people pleasers in different levels of people pleasing, right?
Yes.
So what they said was, people pleasers are controlling people. And I was like, wait, what does that mean? Because they're trying to please you to control how you feel about them. And I went, oh my gosh. So I started thinking in my head, who am I trying to please because I'm trying to control how they feel about me?
Yes.
That was eye-opening, because I'm like, a lot of people. I'm trying to please a lot because I need people to fulfill me by them loving me, and that changed my whole life.
It does.
Changed my whole life.
Isn't it
and
amazing?
I lost friendships because of it.
Yes.
Because there were certain people in my life that I was codependent. There was codependency. They were controlling me in some way too, and doing things to get me to like them.
Yes.
Oh my! So my friendships now are solid. It's, I love them, they love me. I don't need anything from them, they don't need anything from me. They're solid. It's a smaller group. Yeah. But it's a quality group. It's a quality group. It's my tribe of women.
It is your tribe.
I got my tribe of women.
Absolutely is.
And the other one is, you teach people how to treat you.
Girl.
You teach people how to treat you.
I am so excited for you to watch the TEDx talk.
Yours?
Yes.
I can't wait.
Quote.
Really?
We got it. We know
it. Because, and you know what? At that point, I was like, I can't blame my husband, my ex, for the way he treated me. I taught him to treat me that way. I taught him to do that. Yeah. And so he was like, oh, but she's letting me do it, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And boundaries is something that comes up in a lot of our tribe talks. We do workshops that we call tribe talks. And that is, and you know, we start with self-acceptance, because how you feel about yourself is how you interact with the world. And how you know, a lot of times women especially, we're not judging another person. We are judging ourselves and what we don't like about ourselves, and projecting it on another person.
That's right.
And that, you know, that kind of awareness, I think, has to happen first, but then that boundary piece
is the best.
Oh my goodness. So we call it saying that you don't have to say no, you just have to say yes to yourself first.
Ooh, I like that.
And it's so interesting because we feel like all of this giving that we're doing is not egotistical, but it really is. Because we need those affirmations, and we need to feel good, and we need to feel like we're giving something. But what we're doing is we're giving everything away.
We're giving everything away.
And we don't have
that is
anything else, no source to pull from anymore.
And the other thing is rescuers. I was a rescuer. I mean, we literally
the triangle.
See, because I used to bring homeless people to my house. I was constantly rescuing teen girls, all this stuff. But I realized that the reason why I was trying to rescue them was because I was ignoring my own. Well, I was ignoring my own. I needed to be rescued. Yeah. But I didn't want to admit all of my faults. So if I could just put all my attention on other people, I wouldn't have to deal with my own stuff.
Yes.
I learned that. And I stopped rescuing people.
Yes.
And I started rescuing myself.
Yes.
I rescued myself, and now I'm good. So now I feel like I can help people in a healthy way, and it's not me trying to, keep it from me,
and not enabling either.
It's not enabling.
It's genuinely helping them to the next level,
That's
and also not being anybody's everything, and helping them do what you did.
That's right.
For yourself.
And I've learned to say no a lot more.
That's good.
It's a good word.
That's good. I love
No
it.
is good.
No is a complete sentence.
That's right. You know what?
Yeah.
I love that. No is a complete sentence. I love that. Because it's true.
Tell me about how a lot of this manifested in the film. And it sounds like a lot of it manifested through the film.
Absolutely.
And through your interaction with these women. So Women Like Us is an organization.
Yes.
That you were part of.
I was part of.
That took you to Kenya.
Yes.
And while you were in Kenya, you just started filming.
Yeah.
And you just got a bunch of footage.
Started shooting.
And a story came out of that.
Yeah. And there was the female genital mutilation, which is a cultural thing. So we interviewed a woman that has a rescue home, and then another woman that started a school for orphans that passed away because their parents passed away of HIV. And a lot of the orphans had HIV as well. And some other women in education. I met the former First Lady, got to interview her. That was incredible.
Just, those are the moments where I'm just like, okay, I just need to be done now because nothing better is going to happen.
It was incredible. Can I tell the quick story how I met her?
Yes.
So I wanted to get some political figures for the film, but that's, if they don't know you, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll give you the time of day.
Yeah.
They don't. And so we happened to be staying at this one location, and there was no vacancies because there was 13 of us, and so her and her husband ended up flying in their Silver Bullet helicopter. So we had just come back from doing humanitarian work, and there's a Silver Bullet helicopter on the property. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? Yeah, what is
something important?
Who's here? And the manager's like, hey, the former First Lady and the former President of Kenya are here with their security, and we're wondering if you guys will give up a couple rooms just for one night. And we're like, oh, of course, So we gave up some rooms, and they knew we did that. So I think they bought us a bottle of wine just to say thank you. And so they were coming through the dining room because they had to come through our dining room to go to the room. And the president came with his security. And then the former First Lady, it was me and Kat and my camera person and one other person. And we were just sitting around having a glass of wine, and she came through. I'm like, hi. And I was like, oh my gosh, here's my chance, what do I say? And I was like, would you like to have a glass of wine with us? Not thinking she would say yes. She said, why not? She had a seat with us. She had a glass of wine with us. Her security was great. It was incredible. And she's like, what are you guys doing here? And I'm like, I'm a filmmaker, and she's a celebrity in the U.S. And, I'm doing a documentary, and I would love to interview you. And I said she would do the interview. And she's like, what's her name? I said, Kat Sadler. She pulled out her iPad, not even joking, looked her up.
I bet Kat's like,
oh! She saw that she was legit. And she said, you know what? We leave tomorrow at 8 a.m. If you have your cameras set at 7 a.m., I'll do the interview. I swear. And I was like, thank you, Jesus.
That's
and
amazing.
We got the interview, and she was incredible. She tied everything together in Kenya. It was it was perfect. It was I couldn't have written it more perfect.
It's one of those things that, and Lorraine is one of our team members, and she and I just went to Ogden, Utah, at Weber University, and then we went on to LA. And one of the things, she and I both kind of have a history, and I think a lot of people do, like, you want to control your environment, right? So we kind of had this history of that, and of doing that in kind of our corporate jobs and in our work, in our world. And until we became aware of that, we couldn't let it go. Well, we went on this journey, and we just kind of put ourselves in a direction, but we didn't control it. And that's when the magic happens.
That's when it happens.
When you're just like, this is what I hope for.
Right.
This is kind of the direction I want to go. But if you are so focused on that goal, you miss all the things that happen magically.
And putting the intention out there, and whatever you believe. But yes. I think if you start the journey, like, stuff will meet you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to it; it will come to you.
That is it.
It will meet you.
It was, and she met you. And had a glass of wine.
She had a glass of wine. And I have all the video of, I want to do like a behind the scenes stuff, because we had a whole beautiful conversation that we recorded. We didn't use it for the film because it was kind of dark. But she was incredible. And Moby gave us all the music. I met him I was producing a magazine segment at his house, and I was courageous enough to talk to his people and said, hey, do you think he would be willing to give us music? And originally he was just going to give us his gratis stuff that he gives to all filmmakers. But then I ended up at his house again to interview him for the film. And he's like, you know what? I really like you. I'm going to give you my A-list songs for free. So his music's all throughout my film. He's incredible.
I'm not saying I wouldn't watch the film anyway, but there's like bonus.
There's bonus feature. And then Sherry Shepherd, was a great friend of mine, is a great friend of mine. So she did it just as a favor to me, and Kat Sadler's in it, and so it's a really good film, and the women are incredible.
What was this is going to be that terrible interview question about like what was your favorite story?
Yes.
Was there a moment where we're just like, this is a pinnacle moment in the film where something touched you in a way that you're like, I don't know if this is gonna be it?
You know what? I think meeting Ida Odinga was such an incredible moment for me, because I thought to myself, God must really love me that he would put the former First Lady, this beautiful educational, like full of education, lovely, kind-hearted woman in front of me, and she would be open to doing an interview with me. Who am I? And that's how I felt at the time. And then as I went on this journey, I felt a lot more confident in me, and I started to say, why not me?
Worthiness.
I think that was a moment for me of, but why not me? And that's when I started saying that to myself. I'm like, I'm worthy of this. I'm an incredible woman. Like, I get stuff done too, and I'm a good mom, and I'm and sometimes we just need to say that to ourselves. But just taking this journey with these intelligent, incredible, outstanding women, and being in the midst of them made me go, wow, I not have arrived, because I don't think we'll ever really arrive, but I'm in another, place that I'm part of this tribe of incredible women, and I'm okay with that, and I celebrate that in me, and I'm good too.
Yes, and now you're working to bring other women along.
Absolutely, and being here at the film festival and being celebrated is like, it doesn't get better than that as a filmmaker.
Like, I'll take it.
Doesn't get better than that.
I worked for it.
Absolutely. I worked 4 hard years, and
you did.
and then went back to the U.S. and we tackled some of the things that were happening there, and I'll go back to your question, because another moment was when I actually did a ride along and got to see the women that are being trafficked firsthand at 2:00 in the morning, going, this is happening at 2:00 in the morning, just miles away from where I live. So that was like, wow. So I'm now part of the task force for the Human Trafficking Division in LA, and I'm all about bringing awareness to it, and eventually I'm going to do a whole documentary about it. But
good. Yeah. So that's your what's next, which is a terrible question, also another terrible interview question, because there's always a next, right?
There's always a next. I mean, my next is a documentary that I've already shot, and it's in post for Puerto Rico and the devastation that happened there.
That's right. Good.
So, because that's where my family's from, and I still have family that has no electricity still 7 months later. There's 300,000 people 7 months later that still don't have power. And it's out of mind, out of sight now, and I don't blame Americans for not paying attention. There's so much other stuff coming at them, but people that are from there are of course paying attention still, absolutely. And we always will.
Well, and it happens also locally. I mean, it happens with any disaster or tragedy. It's in the media for a week. Everybody throws money and goods, and
unless you're from there or affected by it,
unless you're from there, somebody, something. It doesn't. You're on to the next. Yeah, it's that instant gratification, no pain.
That's right. That is right.
We are not into that.
That's right. And then my third documentary is about anti-bullying, which I've already started to shoot. So,
Now, what does that encompass? Because since we address mean girl culture, it kind of segues ultimately into bullying just as people, and I can't even imagine trying to unpack that.
Well, that one's developing as we go, but I started it with, I interviewed 5 kids between the age of 4 and 6th grade, 4th through 6th grade, which my kids are in that category. So they're the 2, and then 2 of their friends and a boy. So it's 4 girls and a boy, and I just do an interview about bullying and have you been bullied? Have you been a bully? And it was interesting because they all go to the same school, and they've all been bullied by the same girl.
Wow.
It was amazing because they all said her name, and I was like, wait a minute, the same girl's bullying all 5 of these children.
Wow.
I was amazed by that because for me as a mom, I was like, I'm going to call the principal and say
I'm going to call their mom.
Who's this girl? That's bullying everybody. And I was like, point her out to me. And I would never obviously go to a child, but I explained to the kids, obviously she's gone through her own stuff. She's not a bad girl.
Yes.
But she needs love just like you guys. And maybe one day you guys come up to her and say, why do you do that? Why?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's mean girl culture, again, we talk about a lot. And we talk about it in the context of it being a culture. And when we're aware of it happening, then we can choose not to participate. But boundaries are a huge piece of that, because we have to know how to set boundaries. And, you know, bullying, mean girl culture, rape culture, bullying, they're all forms of very similar condition, which is, and what I've always told my kids when they report things like that to me is, that is a reflection of how they feel about themselves.
That's right.
Or how somebody is treating them. A lot of the things that they're saying to you, especially at that age, is something that they are hearing.
That's right.
They're not getting it from nowhere.
No way.
And our very first tribe talk that we did, it was just on the listening tour, was in a high school girlfriend's backyard of a B&B that she has. And it was women that I knew and women that I didn't know. I had some family members there and some girls from high school. And the eye-opening moment for me about bullying and mean girl culture was we were talking about it, and one of my friends just piped up and she said, I was that girl.
The bully?
I was the mean girl.
Wow.
And she wasn't to me, but I know that she was.
But you knew that of her.
And I knew that of her, and she said, I was that girl. And she said, and here are the reasons, here's what was going on in my life, here's what was happening. And what I recognized was that we can't label somebody. It's that guilt and shame thing again, right? So we can't say you are a bully, because then that's permanent.
Right. You're
behaving like a bully.
Behaving.
And that behavior can change. And so we do need to hold space for people to grow.
Absolutely.
And to change and help them do that but still have healthy boundaries.
That's right.
Because it's not going to happen overnight. I love it.
Yeah.
This is awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, it's been fun.
The film is going to be great. So is there any future, are you doing more festivals?
I'm going to submit to more festivals. I haven't, because we've done 35 screenings across the country.
That's incredible.
And I've been flying around town, and I finally, after this, I said, I'm going to be home for a little while with my girls. Yeah. I have an 11 and 12-year-old.
They need mommy. They're right there.
I FaceTimed them this morning. They're so cute. They're like, Mommy, you're not here to do our French braids. And I'm like, oh, God, don't say that. So unless somebody's paying me a whole heck of a lot of money, I'm staying in LA with my girls.
Good.
And finishing my second and starting the third, and doing some more festivals, I think is what I'm going to focus on. And I have, I'm hosting some TV. I have an interview. I'm going to tell you guys first. This is exclusive. I interviewed with MGM. I don't know if you guys know Roma Downey. You know who she is? Mark Barnett. So I interviewed with their company. Roma wasn't there. It was just her executives. And they love me, and they came to see my film. So I have my interview with Roma in 2 weeks, May 17th at 1 o'clock.
That is so exciting.
Because she partnered with MGM for Lightworkers, which is their faith-based company. And I think I'm going to be hosting one of their new shows. It's called Ignite Live, which is igniting your dream from within.
Oh my gosh, we're going to do stuff together.
Absolutely. Can we stay in touch, please?
Oh, please. Are you kidding
And I'm going to watch your TED Talk, because then I'm going to get to know you, and then we'll have better conversations, because I'll be like, okay, I got her now.
Yep.
Now we can open it all up.
We are building an amazing tribe.
Yes, and I need a spa lady, because like I said, I'm more like, and you're like,
just give me
yeah. You'll be like, Sally, calm. I'll be like, I'm good, I'm calm.
Obviously, I just sit here and listen. That's what I do.
Sometimes I need to unplug. Sometimes I've got to reboot. Sometimes I just want to sleep. But I always want to connect with you. Get into Brew Moods, aromatherapy lotion powered by a mindfulness app.